Hello there, whippersnappers, and welcome to Kingsport Lighthouse. Here we have a hotel and budding transportation system, and judging by that muttering and side-eye, I think maybe we're in the way. So let's get on with the tour. Sorry, Maggie. Now, while Abe was away trying to save the land of Far Harbor, he delegated this little project to a team of Minutemen, and as you can see, they might not have been the most experienced of builders, but they have managed to create something somewhat functional. Now, they christened it the Botel, which just kind of sounds like I've got a bit of a cold, but never mind. And we also have Rooty's Bar. It is under the care of old Rufus from Sanctuary, but seeing as it's not technically a roof, he wasn't having that name on there. So Rooties is what they've opted for. And then just over here we have this small shack belonging to Aaron and Sharon. And they were actually here first, before the Children of Atom so cruelly ousted them. What on earth are you doing?
Huh?
My thoughts exactly. So yeah, this is Sharon. Not entirely sure what she's doing, but they were very grateful to have their shack back, and they do a bit of groundskeeping and caretaking just to help out where they can.
Yeah.
We'll just shut that and leave her to it, I think. They love that little place. They've built it with their bare hands and they're just happy to have it back. Okay, and then heading into the hotel. First of all, you'll be greeted by our receptionist, Marvin.
Hear about that farm run by ghouls? Isn't that something?
I know, you guys have some good jobs under the care of the Minutemen, don't you? So yeah, you can check in with Marvin. He'll show you to your room, carry your bags and that sort of stuff. When he's not being distracted by his friend Phil here. He's a frequent flyer, and he loves to come down here for a good gossip.
Ain't looking for trouble, I hope.
No, of course not. Yeah, they're down
Yes.
here, chatting away like a pair of old ladies in the hairdressers. So we've also got Marianne. She's the wife of the owner, and she's determined that she will open this safe one day. Abe has offered to help, but she's
Crop's
having
been
none of
growing
it.
pretty good lately.
Goodness me, everyone's so
Lost track
chatty
how
down
many
here
months
today.
like that.
And down in the kitchen, we have Lou. So he's the owner,
Don't
really.
much care for good neighbor. That place is nothing but trouble.
Yeah, a few fairly rough establishments out there, aren't there, Lou? And this is Trish, Lou and Marianne's daughter. So Trish and Lou run this very nice kitchen together. Lou's a little bit more in charge of front of house, but he's more than
Farm's
happy to
not
help
much,
cooking in the
but
kitchen
it's
if they're busy as well.
Yes.
You ain't one of them synths here to spy on me.
Goodness me, I can't get a word in. Trish is a brilliant chef, and she's often coming up with tasty new recipes.
Crop's coming in pretty good.
Right, I think we're just going to follow after Aaron out here and get some peace and quiet. Aaron is the strong, silent type. I don't know if he'll have much to say. Nope, straight back to the gardening. Right, I think it's time we had a look round in the hotel. So here is one of our basic rooms. Doesn't look like there's anybody staying in here yet, and it does look like they're having a bit of a wash day. And we've got quite a nice bathroom over here as well. Nice and clean. Now this one is occupied by, well, it's Deacon. Now, Deacon is once again exiled to the toilet because the moment we got here, he went straight to the kitchen and just started trashing the place. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he is once again in the toilet thinking about what he's done. Now, of course, this closes up nicely for privacy. Something's not right. I should think that was also Deacon. Much better. And then in here we have some storage and a little bit more accommodation. Now we do try and cater to everybody, so we've got some low-cost accommodation down on this level, if people haven't got too many caps to spend. It's a bit more communal, kind of hostel style, I suppose. But it's a safe, warm bed for the night. And then as we head up, the rooms kind of get nicer and nicer. So yes, it's definitely changeover day. The sheets are all out for the wash. This is quite a cozy room. Everything they might need. Clothing iron. Tea and coffee facilities. And then we've got a single over this way. Oh, apologies. This one is occupied.
You talked to Cassie Dalton? Shame what happened to her family.
Oh, looks like he's from Far Harbour. Small world. Excuse me nosying around your room. There we go. Thank you. Right, and then up the top, we've got kind of the penthouse suite, I suppose. And this is the nicest room in the place. They've got kind of a full breakfast bar setup. And a writing desk. All sorts of comfort and entertainment. They've got holotapes they can play on this stereo. Really luxurious bed. And lots of nice decorations. So anyone with plenty of caps gets to stay up there. And then out here we've got a bit of a rooftop terrace. Nothing too fancy, just some seating. Bit of a balcony so you can take in the view. Okay, and out this way we can go and take a look at Rooty's Bar. So as I said, this is owned by old Rufus at Sanctuary, but because it's in a tree and not on a roof, he insisted it had to be called Rooty's instead. Hello there.
Out here, you gotta take things one day at a time.
Oh, somebody having a contemplative holiday. And so in here we've got our barman, Russell,
Yeah?
under the employ of Rufus. Fairly simple little setup here. As you can see, they've got some fairly reasonable seating and a fair bit of space, and it's not as branchy as it may seem. They've even put some effort into decorating the place to make it a bit friendlier. Not a bad way to pass an evening if you're spending the night in the hotel. Okay, I think we'll head down this way and take a look at how we're trying to make transportation a bit easier around the Commonwealth. The lighthouse here is just used for staff quarters and storage, so I think we'll leave them their privacy. And we'll go and take a look down here at the boat. Of course, they've got some decent water production out here. And here we go. So this is how we get all those aspiring Minutemen over to Croup Manor and the castle for transfers inland. And we might have a look at one of our inland boats next time. And then we have our ticket guy, Steve. What, you just chilling?
Yeah?
Yeah. So Steve's also in charge of loading up any luggage and cargo onto the boat, so he can come around this way. These are all his good friends out the back here. Beautiful birdies. There we go, and there's one of our boats. We've only got the one in today. We'll go and take a closer look, but I think rather than hopping over the edge, we'll head back on more sturdy ground.
Yeah?
Gabe has donated this diving suit for any underwater maintenance. Okay, we will take a small shortcut. So as a passenger, you would head down this way. Yes, of course, keep hands and feet inside the vehicle, because you don't know what bitey things are living in the sea. Hello there. Oh, bye. Okay, so we've got our crew, Annika. She's new. And this little boat is called Rocket. Not quite spelled like that, but Abe thinks it's quite funny, so he hasn't told them.
What the hell is a synth, anyway? Eh.
Where have you been living?
Yes?
Oh well. Yeah, quite decent seating on this boat. They can carry a fair few passengers. And then here we've got Captain Davy.
Oh, now that's some firepower there.
Oh, thank you. Yes, Captain Davy keeps a very clean ship. He's got his maps and charts and supplies. Jangle's the mascot. What are you thinking about? Oh well, he's not talking to us today.
The children of Adam are dangerous. Don't trust them.
Tell me about it. They didn't want to leave the lighthouse, that's for sure. Okay, and we've even got some premium seating here on Rocket. Again, you might have to pay a little bit extra for your ticket, but you can travel in style. I think while we're here, we'll just take some sea air and wait till darkness so we can take in some hotel nightlife. There we go. Lighthouse isn't massively bright, but it is lit up once again. Where's the stairs? There's the stairs. How you doing, Captain Davy? Still nothing?
What are you looking at?
Alright. Goodness, we did say she was new. Clearly needing to learn a bit of manners and customer service skills. Anyway, we'll leave them to it. So the ticket office is nicely well lit, so people can find it easily. We don't want anyone tripping on the decking. And then back up to the hotel. So we've got this little outside dining area. They can pass the food straight out the kitchen to be enjoyed in the fresh air. What's going on in here? Looks like everyone's joining in the chat today. Good jump. Oh, not so good jump. What are you lot up to?
Farming's as honest work gets.
Huh?
Kitchen's quiet, so they're not waiting for food. Oh well, I think we've interrupted some important gossip. We can head back up and visit Rooties. Don't imagine it's very busy. Nope. I think we've got a kitchen at parties situation going on. Sorry, Russell, maybe they'll be up later. And you'll have something to do then. And there's the lighthouse. Okay, the hotel's kind of windowless, so the lighting is much the same in the day or the night. Aaron and Sharon's shack. Still fairly low tech, candles only. But they do spend an awful lot of time in the hotel these days, so they're alright. There we have the boatel. You can now travel around in style and sleep with some degree of comfort when you reach your destination. Alright, Kingsport Real Talk. Now this is a bit of a weird one because I've picked away at this settlement sort of here and there for absolutely ages. I think I've finished the shack right before I went on to build the church, which does explain why everything's a bit kind of mishmash. Yeah, I think this little shack is probably my favourite part of the whole thing. I really liked that concrete wall and what was already here, so I decided I wanted to just build up around it. Yeah, all sorts of little bits and pieces to make this come together. She's still just standing there. Yeah, so these are all just kind of pillared around what I wanted to keep. And then we turned the, what is it, stairs, apparently useless stairs, into a bed. So everything's at a slightly wonky angle, and then we needed this kind of custom doorway. So we got just a weapon rack up there, and a hitching post. I did find that if you try and use the shack railings, you can't actually walk under them. But the hitching post you can, and that fits the door quite snugly, so... yeah, that's not too bad for a rickety shack. So then for the house itself, I kind of just fixed it up a bit here and a bit there over quite a long period of time. It's not my favourite task, fixing up these pre-existing structures. I quite liked how this little piece came out, the sort of porch on the lobby. This was before I need to install the, open the doors before installing them, so yeah, the settlers quite often will swing those open, unfortunately. Hello in there.
My back hurts, my feet hurt, everything hurts.
Oh, sitting at reception. Fair enough. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to remember exactly what happened and when, because I came back a few times, put a few things down and deleted it all and started again. Some slightly wonky walls up here, because the collision around this house is... I found it to be a bit awkward, like it's not very forgiving, so a lot of it did end up having to be put with a pillar, despite the fact that it looks like it should have snapped. Yeah, I couldn't get anything to go under here, so there's just a nice big gap all the way up the building. And this ugly protruding floor. But yeah, otherwise there was quite a large hole there, so that's just how it is. Oh, it's such a mess. Yeah, there's all sorts of things at different heights. I mean, like, as I was doing it, I got more experienced over time. But I just kept kind of tacking on extra bits, which is why it's a bit of a weird one. I did pile all of this in because originally I did just leave the hole, but then I decided to have the floor instead. The pathing in here is really messed up. Like, sometimes a settler will spawn on one of the floors above, but they cannot manage those stairs, and they don't come down in here either. I think it's probably that overhang that stops them using these stairs, but all the floors in here snapped fairly well. Got a bit more fiddly up here. Just trying to see where the wonky wall is. Is that? Yeah, I think that's a bit off. These outer walls all just snapped nicely. Yeah, a bit of gap filling with these half walls. And then pretty much everything on the other side had to be pillared just like as close as possible to the original structure. This kind of mangled, invented doorway, which is a complete mess. Yeah. Again, the floors out here laid quite nicely, apart from where that ceiling fan is, so that's, yeah, a bit of mat there to hide the gap. Useless boxcar doors just to add a bit of texture on the front there. Otherwise it's quite a big red slab. And some floating stairs. That just wouldn't quite me. Yeah, I think I really wanted something to be in the tree. When I got here I was decorating the tree with all sorts of things before I built anything else, and then I deleted it all and started again. We're right up close to the settlement boundary here though. I mean, none of these walls can even place any other direction. All the way up to the edge. Yeah, the tree's a bit weird on collision. Some of the branches are kind of there and some of them aren't. I was so inexperienced when I started doing this, so it was a case of just accepting what would snap, where it would snap, and yeah, some floors doubled, and that's why it's on 2 layers. I've learnt a lot since I did this, and I've actually built another treehouse, which is a nice treehouse, so we'll see that quite soon. Whoops. Oh. Whoops. Yeah, it's a bit tight up here. But there again, like none of these pieces are that happy. There was lots of kind of strange angling just to get them to go into any kind of position. And that was the best I could do at the time. But I mean, this is before Grandma Iris's, I think I did that. And then by the time I'd finished picking away at this, I went on to build the church afterwards. So it really has spanned a long period of time. Yeah, Marianne here. She's assigned to a barber chair. I probably should have hidden that little piece in the corner there, but oversight. I just liked the idea of her obsessing over that safe. We've got this kind of fly screen made of wires, more conduits hidden in the floor. Now, at the time I thought I was being original, but Barbarian Kung Fu has done some really good examples of those in his home plate as well, so go have a look at that if you feel inspired. Try to disguise the bloodstains slightly with the dark matte, but we'll say that's fish guts. Yeah, and everything's kind of chained up. Again, I'm a bit hazy on what and why now, but I'm sure it made sense at the time. Yeah, thankfully pillars would sink into the floor in the kitchen, so that was really, really helpful for things like that. No need for additional campfires or anything. And then, yeah, I tried to make a fridge out of a Vim machine. So there's this table in there for the handle, but that would fall all the way down to the floor if you removed the rug. So there's a rug to catch it and a shelf to catch it, and we just have to ignore the clipping fish. Oops. Okay, and then down here... Oh, I can't open those. Yeah, I didn't really do anything in the lighthouse. There's literally just extra beds for the settlers. Another good old backwards sign. And yeah, I think some of these signs I had to put in with pillars, and some of them would just stick to the I think this is a clothing stand. That one's too sunk in to even select anymore. And then down to the boat. And then I could have sworn I put a mooring post in there, but obviously didn't save at that point. Yeah, a really, really awkwardly placed arena stand, and the rubber mat that she stood on I did add myself, because it seems otherwise that they think they're standing in water, because it's really close to the surface. Yeah, another backwards sign just to jazz up the general store again, and just a few things placed down for decoration. I believe the walls would just place on the edge there, so I put the big one in and then snapped everything else around it. Yeah, everything worked quite nicely on there. Over here we've got our previous crew member. Unfortunately, I don't know what's wrong here. They just seem to like to jump in the sea despite being assigned to an arena stand. That was the third one. Yes, Annika will be being unassigned just as soon as we finished up and sent back to safety. I think that's about it for this one. So yeah, I guess this is kind of a visual representation of a learning curve. If you have made it this far, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, then please leave a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, then feel free to subscribe. We've got some quite exciting things coming up very soon now. Otherwise, until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and it's goodbye from Kingsport Lighthouse. Bye bye.